One thing I learned in life, you can never bring somebody up if they don't want to go up. You can't. No matter how good you think you are, no matter how much you want to tell them, you could help them. If they don't want to go up, there's nothing you can do.
100%.
But the reverse is not true. Somebody bad could bring a good person down. They can.
100%.
Because the negativity in the world is much more stronger than the positive sometimes. And the negative people can bring you down. So I stay away from negative people.
You're right.
I just walk away from them.
What I tell people all the time, especially a lot of these youngsters, I deal with a lot of these young gangbangers.
Yes.
And I tell them, remember this, in life, you are who you hang out with.
Being around the right people, sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. Because it's too many people that's working against you and don't want to see you make it.
For some reason, some people would rather kill your dream than see you succeed.
Stop telling your visions to other people, because they're not going to see it. If you decide you want to be rich, who gonna stop you? Unless you tell it to the wrong person. Mama, I'm going to be rich. Anybody rich in this family? Go in there and sit down somewhere. Get yourself a good job.
You gonna open up a business and you 2 months behind in your rents. I'm just trying to make it real for you. I'm just trying to make it real. I'm just trying to make it real for you.
Mama could be wrong.
I think the biggest vulnerability you've got is you actually value somebody's opinion more than you value your own. At the end of the day, my guy, yourself.
Those people that you're so terrified of their opinion of you, those people are not the ones who will live with the regret. Those other people are not going to be there when it sucks and it's hard for you.
You got to get real quiet up here. I'm in my own mind, doing my own thing.
You know, there's so few people telling you to do it. You know what there is a lot of? Conserve, don't spend, don't take risk. The biggest struggle for me was my family, man. The people closest to me was the biggest struggle. So the point, you got fuel in your tank, and then you got somebody in the back seat saying, hey, be careful. They're putting mental pressure on the brakes when you're trying to accelerate.
Believe it or not, some people will be glad when you give up. This is a very strange thing. There's a law where there are people in your life that don't want to see you leave the comfort zone. That makes them feel like they could have done the same as well, but they didn't. And you don't necessarily make them look good.
They try and make you feel bad about being so blessed. They're envious. They're threatened by the idea that you're coming up.
First thing is this person antagonistic to my success? They're pretending to be concerned. They're posing as giving you feedback. And this is something that you just completely eliminate from your life. They should at least not be in your proximity.
My mother used to say, you run around with losers, you will end up a loser.
Are you going to go through the type of suffering that gets you closer to your dream, or the suffering that moves you further away? It's the suffering of emotion you feel, of wanting to please everybody. This is what I call false suffering that gets you nowhere. There's no reward to the emotional suffering you're going through, worrying about your haters, worrying about the detractors. Don't let anybody else ever cause you to suffer, to lose your vision, to lose your belief, to steal your dream, to get you to pay the ultimate price.
Look at you and look at your environment. Have you been positioned to flourish? People who hated you, environments that denied you, mentalities that poisoned you. You cannot take a peach seed and plant it in a teaspoon of dirt and expect it to grow. Had you always been planted in teacups? Small-minded people, narrow, limited places that never let you stretch to reach your capacity. Sometimes you gotta go where the corn is.
I know that sometimes you don't just have to listen to what people tell you. Sometimes people are gonna try to talk you out of your dream. And you gotta look them right in the eye and say, hey, I'm just gonna keep showing up. You got to show up for your life regardless of the circumstances. You got to show up for your life. Because if you don't, nobody else will.
Everybody says to me, hey, Inky, do you want to go to college? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to college. They said, nobody goes to college for Krim. The first day I get to the school, I see why everybody said what they said. There was a cop at every single door and metal detectors. My man starts searching me. What's your plan, little man? I said, oh man, I'm going D1, I'm going to college. He says to me, you'll probably go to cell block D1. When I got my scholarship from Tennessee and got back to Krim High School, the first person I went to see was that cop in the lunchroom. He said, how did you do it? He said, I seen so many kids step up to me and say the same thing, and they end up dropping out. If I wanted to challenge you to see, would you retreat or would you step up to me and fight for the thing that you said you wanted? In life, people don't burn out because of what they do. People burn out because life makes them forget why they do it.
Do you really love yourself? If you love yourself, why would you fuck with those type of people? You know what they're saying about you behind your back. You know that they don't like you. And because you're so desperate to have people around you, you continue to go back. You are old enough and mature enough to understand the difference in good people and bad people.
Toxic relationships are relationships with people that always criticize you. All they can do is remind you of the mistakes that you've made in the past. I know people whose lives have been ruined because somebody wasn't good for them.
So what their childhood friends? So what their family? You can't say that you love yourself when you continue to invite and include these people in your life.
Make a list of who you communicate with most and ask yourself the question, what kind of person am I becoming because of this relationship?
Or have you decided, because you're desperate, you've decided to drag these random people into the new season of your life? Is that relationship over? Are you just holding on to it because you got this concept of loyalty? Well, I've learned that loyalty has an expiration date. So if you had drugged that person, those family members, those situations into the new season of your life wouldn't be going as well as it's going right now. I have a choice to decide who and what and where I want to go. Because we're friends, because we grew up together, doesn't mean that I want to be a part of any and everything that you want me to be a part of. When you get invited to places, doesn't mean you have to show up, especially if you know what your experience is going to be like with these people. Feeling good is a responsibility that we all have for ourselves. I actually don't care what you say about me. I don't lose sleep over haters. Why? Because I know exactly how I feel about me. You're bored. You have nothing going on in your life, so you focused on my life. Listen, y'all. Stop running around being on the receiving end of whatever people want to dump on you. Stop running around acting as if you don't have a choice. You do have a choice. Stop playing the victim. You have a choice.
When you start talking about your goals, your dreams, they can't hear it. They can't see it for you. They just don't understand. And that's when they start saying stuff like, oh, he, she, they're acting funny. They're hanging with this new group of people and they done brainwashed them, they done tricked them. And guys, I heard all of this. Even though they do want the best for us, but they just cannot see the vision. So what can you do? You got to show them the vision. You got to show them the vision by becoming successful. You can't just talk about it. Family can be your biggest haters ever. I mean, they just don't care. Some people have to be successful. So in my reality, I'm successful. So I hate when they use that, oh, let's be realistic. You never did this before. You never did that. Blah, blah, blah. Come on. They can't see from themselves, so there's no way they can see it for you. Think about that, guys. If these people never been successful, how can you really expect them to support you and want you, to get to that next level and be successful? They never saw it for themselves. They never had it. So just keep that in mind when talking to friends and family.
Sometimes God will let us go through seasons where we're not getting what we expect from people, to teach us to not rely on another person, but to get our encouragement, our worth from Him. Because the higher God takes you, there will be more disapproval, more critics. If you're basing your worth on how people are treating you, you'll never become everything God created you to be. The less you depend on people, the stronger your spiritual muscles are going to become and the higher you're going to go. You don't have to have all those people. You and God are a majority. You'll accomplish more with less people because of God's favor on your life. Quit trying to get from people what only God can give.
Never wait on the right time, because the right time ain't ever coming. All that, when we get my ducks lined up in the row, no you won't. No you won't. Because as you have aspirations, you got to understand that the devil understands your aspirations too. The devil's job is to rob you of your destiny. So there will always be an obstacle. So if you're waiting on the right time, you'll never make the move. You have to go. See, devil, he only has one job: to rob you of what God intended for you to be. That's his only job. So he has a lot of people that work for him full time. They're called haters. And they at work all the time. And you all experience with them too. And so what you got to do is, when you have these ideas of greatness, you got to go forward. Because it's not going to be a right time. Just go. Just go. Go jump. Take a chance. I walked in the comedy club October 8th, 1985. Had never been in a comedy club. Had only heard about him. I was writing jokes for this comedian. This girl told me, "You're writing his jokes?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Why don't you do them yourself?" I said, "How? Where?" She said, "A comedy club." I said, "What's that?" She says, "Comedy club." She said, "Why are you writing them jokes for him? You ought to tell him yourself." She said, "I'm going to pick you up Tuesday and take you." We drove 45 minutes from there to Hilarious Comedy Club. I signed up for the following week. 9 guys went up. I was just staring at them. She said, "How come you're not laughing?" Because I was just staring at them. Because every joke they told, I knew what they were going to say. And deeper than that, I knew what they should have said. And then when the 10th person came up, they called his name and he wasn't there. He got scared and left. So they said, "We're going to go to next week's list. Is Steve Harvey still here?" And I looked at her and I said, "Man, this dude in here got the same name I got." She said, "You know what? You are stupid." And he said, "Steve Harvey, you here? Come on up." I'd never been on stage in my life as a stand-up. I ran up on stage. Long story short, they had a clap-off. I won $50, amateur night. For 45 minutes, I cried all the way home. That girl said, "Why are you crying? It ain't but $50. I said, "No, you don't understand. I was born tonight." I said, "This is what I'm going to do the rest of my life." She said, "You just won $50. You got to go back." I said, "I'm going to go back. But this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life." October 9th, the next morning, I went to my job and quit my job with $50. $50. I just quit. Ex-wife left me. Mother-in-law, boy, I cost some help. Made $3,000 first year in business, $5,200 the second year, $7,300 the third year. Became homeless, lost everything I ever owned, lived in a car for 3 years. I kept telling them jokes. My father was the only one who believed it. My mother, my brothers, sisters, all my friends, man, get out of that, man. You ain't making no money. You can't tell no jokes. I just kept it. And I'd have made a lot of money, man. I'd have made a lot of money. But I took a chance when it didn't line up. But you can't wait till it line up. You gotta jump. If you ever planning on soaring, you're gonna have to jump. Now, I don't suggest you jumping like I did. That ain't for the faint of heart. If you don't do it now, when you gonna do it? So I jumped. Here I am.
Here is another key benefit of using game plans. If you have your plan in your projects book or up on a wall somewhere, it serves as a constant reminder. to get busy on all the activities you have scheduled. Or, if there are a lot of blank holes beside the activities you have listed, your plan reminds you to get busy scheduling them. Now you might well ask, doesn't a calendar do the same thing? Not really. Many of the events on your game plan will be on your calendar, but here are the major differences. First, the visual reminder of the spreadsheet and the list of activities on the left that have no corresponding time assigned to them on the right serve to remind you of what is not yet done. A calendar just won't give you that kind of information. And second, it is so important to take a look at 3 months, 6 months, 1 year at a time for highly effective planning. With a game plan, you can get a sense of the whole picture of the time frame and all of the important activities at one look. To effectively design something, you just have to have a picture of the whole finished project, complete, or as complete as possible. Game plans are both exciting and painful. Painful because of all the things you must get on with and plan, make up your mind about, or give serious thought to. And painful because they illustrate how far behind you are sometimes. But they are also very exciting, both because they help you to foresee how your life, your business, and your family are going to unfold over the coming months, and because they can help you get the job done. It's like looking at the artist's rendering of the finished project. It brings all kinds of feelings to the surface as we see it all take shape and unfold. And it also gives you that incredible feeling of being in charge. You have your life in hand and in order and well designed. Remember how valuable a day is. It is part of your whole life enterprise. A day is like a piece of the mosaic of your life. Fashion it wisely to the best of your genius. For as someone once said, at midnight, the winged messengers come and gather up all these pieces and take them off to wherever the mosaic is kept. And surely on occasion one messenger says to another, wait till you see this one. A well-fashioned day with a beginning and an end, a purpose and a content, a color and a character, a feel and a texture. This well-fashioned day takes its place among the many and becomes a valuable memory and treasure. An equity of experience and spirit and light. And remember, the genius to do all this lies within you. Never forget that. Some people say, if I was as smart as you are, make sure you make the correction in thinking to say, if I had developed as much of my smart as you have. That's it. We're all smart enough. We just have to develop that smart into a plan.
There's some things in life you don't need no degree for, you don't need no money for it, you don't need no support for it. There's some things in life you just gonna get through when you tell yourself, I'm gonna get through this.
Regardless of what happens to you in life, regardless of the adversity, regardless of the opposition, regardless of the trial and tribulation, nothing can stop you. The only thing that can stop you is you. No situation, no circumstance, no piece of adversity can define your life. Never let a circumstance define you. And I'm not retreating. I'm not running. I don't care what they say on paper. I don't care if you say we outnumbered. We live by this and we die by this. We don't retreat. We don't run. We gonna stand, we gonna live, and we gonna die by what we stand for, and everybody gonna know what we represent and what we're part of.
I got staying power. I got staying power.
Be encouraged today that no matter what you walk through, no matter how broken your marriage is, no matter how many times you fail,
there is within you a spirit that is greater than whatever is going on around you.
If you would be willing to fight your way through this battle, fight your way through cancer, fight your way through that academic struggle, fight your way through divorce, fight your way through it. If you are willing to fight your way through that stinging career, fight your way through boxing, fight your way through football, I'm telling you at the end of the fight is going to come victory.
Every decision that you make in your life has impact on what you're going to be doing 5 minutes from now. Maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's next week, maybe it's a year, maybe it's 10 years from now. But everything that you decide to do today is going to have an impact on you in the future.
Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
Start looking into the future of what you would like to accomplish, where you would like to go, the person you would like to be. Decide what you want, and then act as if you already had it. And that is proof that what you imagine is possible for you.
I had sweat equity. I had been working my whole life. And what I didn't understand, by being determined to chase something, by being committed to it, and what commitment is staying true to what you said you were going to do long after the mood that you have set it in has left. You see, people think commitment is saying, yes, I'll do it on the days when it feels good. But I have been committed to everything that I ever started in my life, and I never stopped and I never quit it. And so by being committed to everything that I started, I finished it. It built a certain type of spirit. It built a certain type of mentality. It built a certain type of individual. And so now I couldn't quit even if I wanted to. I couldn't lay in the bed even if I wanted to. I couldn't stop even if I wanted to. I had too much sweat equity in my life and everything that I was doing.
It all comes down to the inner game, my friends. Changing your life is a change in the inner game. The outside world you can't control, but you have absolute control over this one if you learn the dynamics of what shapes you. And identity is one of those simple, clear, fundamental basics that if you start to shift it, everything else will shift in your life as well. Some people, by the way, have to have more than enough money to do what they want, when they want, where they want, with whomever they want, contribute the way they want. And if that's their must, they find a way. I know that sounds overly simplistic, but it's true.
Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Why is faith so important? Because it's the substance of things hoped for. See, faith really is just hard hoping. If you hope hard enough, that's really faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. If you can just keep hope alive, you can make it. Because if you keep hoping, it is really faith. You just got to transpose it into I hope this happened to I believe this can happen.
You have to have like real rigid requirements of yourself where you don't allow yourself to back out of things and you don't allow yourself to slack off. And I don't think people put those kind of requirements on themselves as if it's it is a daily principle of life, like what you must get done. And if you did that, I think you'd be healthier and happier, and your body would perform more smoothly. And if you require your body to do things like that, I think it rises to the occasion.
It's just kind of like, I'll give you an example. Look at your physical body. Your physical body today is an absolute reflection of only one thing, not your goals, not your desires, but your standards. The identity you have for yourself. If your standard is you're an athlete, then there's a certain amount of strength, a muscle tone, and energy that's available in your body on a regular basis because that's who you are. And so you do whatever's necessary to maintain that identity. Again, the strongest force in the human personality is this need to stay consistent with how we define ourselves.
And as you begin to challenge yourself, you'll discover some things about yourself that you don't know right now. The other thing is you begin to look at yourself, look at your dreams, and begin to experiment and stepping into your greatness. One of the things that's very important, whatever goals and dreams that you have, repeat after me, please, make your move before you're ready.
See, the people who wait for Aunt Matilda to move out, or John to get on the day shift, or for him to swap in the old clunker, or until we get a new governor or a new administration. The people who wait for external changes before they make an internal decision will get cooked in the squat every single time. I can guarantee it. If you're going to reach your goals, you got to make up your mind. You do something today. You can't do everything at once. And if I were to relate back to weight, it's appalling to me to have somebody come up who's 150 pounds overweight and say they're going to lose it in 3 months' time. Friend, it took you 40 years to put it on. Don't take it off like that. I took mine off and kept it off because I changed the thing that put it on. A habit. I ate too much regularly. I didn't gain 37 pounds in one weekend. It is one more bite that done me in. It's the little things. I looked at that weight and I realized that all I had to do was lose 1 9/10 ounces a day. And if I lose 1 9/10 ounces a day, then yes, I'm going to lose that weight. And ladies and gentlemen, to the ounce and to the day. 10 months, I had lost exactly 37 pounds. I had set the goal and I had reached it. Now, a lot of times people come to me and they say, Zig, tell me the truth. I'm always amused that people that say, tell me the truth, they're implying, I guess, that have been lying up until then. Tell me the truth now, Zig. How did you feel about getting up in the morning and going out there and doing that running? How'd you feel about it? I'm going to tell you the truth. I hated it. Man, that alarm clock would sound off, you know, and I'd lay there for a minute and I'd think to myself, Ziegler, what's a 46-year-old fat boy like you doing getting up running all over the neighborhood? Your buddies are sound asleep. What are you trying to prove? And then I'd look down at that 41-inch waistline and I would say, Ziegler, do you want to look like you or do you want to look like the guy in the jockey shorts? Well, I didn't want to look like me. No way. So I'd get out of bed. But just because I was running, that didn't mean I had to like it. Man, I'd get out there and run. I don't know what I'm trying to do. Acting like a teenager and everybody else is sound asleep, and here I am doing a fool thing like this. That's crazy, you know, and off I'd go. And don't you think for one minute I didn't tell everybody about it either.